I know, Sephora and affordable do not usually go hand in hand, but I was so excited when I saw this LYS brand launch at Sephora because I feel like it's definitely more on the affordable side for Sephora. Now I know affordable is very subjective, and this is probably for drugstore makeup. It's not a drugstore brand, but if it were to be in the drugstore, it'd be more on the higher price point, but drugstore products are going up these days. And I just like that Sephora even took it as an option to sell products in this price range. So today I will be testing and reviewing a bunch of products from the LYS brand. They don't have eyeshadows or anything like that, so I'm not gonna be doing that. It's a lot of complexion products that I picked up, some other stuff. So I just wanna test it out and see if it's any good. I know it's been out for a quick minute, but I finally got my hands on it because they were having a Black Friday sale, 40% off the line, and I was like, oh, now's the time to try it. So 40% off is even better. I think these retail for around $15 for a bronzer, somewhere around there. So that's not too shabby in my book. I actually went onto Sephora's website and I looked in these different categories that I purchased. What was the lowest price item in that category? Like the bronzer, for instance. I looked up what the cheapest bronzer was. It was LYS, and that is not counting anything that's on clearance, on sale, or travel size. For a full-size product, LYS pretty much came up every single time as the lowest, most affordable price point that Sephora carries. So we're gonna see if it's actually any good. And if you want to join me today, well, first of all, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future beauty videos, and then let's go, boo. Boop. We're going to be starting with the concealer. Now, I'll got a little itch, sorry. Now, I didn't get the foundation because they were out of my shades, or what would be my shades, on both LYS's website and Sephora at the time of purchase. I'll give it another try later on if I feel like it, but let's start with the concealer. I already primed my skin using the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. We'll keep it very affordable today. And then I'm going to go in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation. But before I do that, I like to conceal the discoloration on my cheeks. So let's bust this open. I love that everything has that triangular shape. So it's definitely like on the lower end of the price range in Sephora, but the packaging still seems very luxe, which I really appreciate. This doesn't feel like a dinky rinky-dink type of concealer. Also, I picked up the shade LG3. I'm usually in the light neutral family. This may be a bit light for my discoloration on my cheeks, but for the under eyes, hopefully it will be nice. The brush tip, it's a little bit strange because it is bent. I believe that's just supposed to be how it is, so it's kind of tricky to put back in to that, I'm noticing. So while I like the packaging, I don't know if I like that bent shape. This does retail for $18, so it is on the lower end range when it comes to more high-end type of products. Blending out, absolutely beautiful. It says it is a full coverage breathable formula. I don't see full coverage right now where I'm covering up this discoloration, but usually with the foundation and then just using it in places that you need a little extra coverage, sometimes that can work out, and sometimes with a brush too. So I'm not going to completely judge it yet until we put it on top of foundation. Speaking of which, let's do that. I'm going to go in with ColourPop really quickly. Okay, that is a medium coverage foundation, so we should really be able to tell if this concealer can be full coverage. I have a lot of darkness going on underneath my eyes right now. So let's plop that on. It's a very thin consistency, not a thick foundation by any means. Yeah, see with the foundation on top, I think that it's a good color match. Let's bring it up into all the other areas I like to highlight and conceal. I have a nice little pimple right here, so let's make sure we can cover up that redness. Perfect. You know what? I don't break out much these days, but sometimes when I'm doing complexion videos, one tends to creep up, and I'm not even mad about it because, like, I want to see how it covers up a blemish. I also have this red spot underneath from when I had a pimple like a few months ago. It didn't even fully become a pimple. It was just like a weird irritation spot, and it's not going away. Like, I still have, I guess it's a scar at this point. But we'll see if it covers that. Let's try a brush because I think that'll keep the coverage much better. I like to use these flat top kabukis that are really soft underneath my eyes. Oh yeah, with the brush that covered that red pimple or red mark, red scar, no problem. I think the brush is definitely going much better, which is to be expected. But since it's so thin, it's taking like more blending out than some other products out there, just because it'll get brush strokes if you don't take your time. But let's go on with the sponge on the other side, because I know sometimes that's people's more preference, a choice tool preference. And let's blend that out. With the thinner concealer, I almost like using a sponge more too, because it just needs like it's blending out way faster with a sponge. However, we're probably going to lose some of that coverage. Let's see, this little red pimple really will be able to tell if the redness will peek through. Yeah, I'm still seeing that. I'm still seeing that redness right there, whereas down here I don't see it. So the brush will keep your coverage, but the ease of use with the sponge is just very nice for this consistency. So I guess you gotta pick your poison. The real test right here though is for that inner corner blueness that I have. Yeah, definitely see it a lot more with the sponge. I see the inner corner darkness more than with the brush side. Sometimes a workaround with that is letting your concealer set for a few minutes and then blending it out if you want to use your sponge. If you can have the patience, which I don't always have the patience to do that. So as far as coverage goes, is it full coverage? I would say it's no Shape Tape, okay? That's the most full coverage that pretty much I can get, but it's just below that. It's not a medium coverage, but it's a little bit more. It's in between a full and a medium, in my opinion. Yeah, unless maybe I let it set for a little while, like I was saying. But let's go into the fun stuff, in my opinion. I mean, this is fun, but I'm really excited for these little triangle guys. These ones, I mean, everything's triangle. I know in their brand, but I think I have to actually start with this one. This is the bronzer stick, cream bronzer stick. I think this is one of their newest products. Look at that. Very cool, very sleek packaging. And this one is retailing for $19 and it looks massive too. Like, ooh, it's very big. I also picked up the shade Motivate. Let's see what that looks like. Very creamy. Wow. I think actually I need to twist back down some. I think I'll go too hard if I have too much product twisted out. I'm going to take the angle of that and just gently smooth. I saw some people pressing a little bit hard and it kind of made it gunk up on the bronzer stick, and I don't want to do that, so I want to press very gently. It's going on. It's like incredibly creamy, where I would not store this anywhere in the heat. I would not travel with this because I could just tell this will be a mess anywhere you put it. But look at that. Look at that precision you could get if you wanted to. Ooh. Put it under there. We'll put a little up here too. Make sure to twist back down and close up. I think I will blend out. We'll try blending out with a sponge on one side. Keep it consistent here. Blending out very beautifully, really nicely. And I'm noticing that it's kind of more of like a taupey bronze. It's not pulling orange at all, but it's warming up the skin just a little bit. Almost a nice kind of bronzy contour. On the other side, I'm going to take my brush, blend that out. Definitely keeps it color more concentrated, which for cream bronzers, I don't mind having a little bit more pigment because typically I put powders on top and I need it to kind of stick, you know, peek through. Actually, I like the blend a little bit better on the brush side too. It's a little bit smoother looking. Yeah, that's nice. Almost forgot to blend out my lip. Happens far too often. Okay, let's move on to the Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. I feel like that's a little bit contradictory, satin and matte. And the way you have to open these are interesting. It has like 3 little sides there, but you can just slide it out too. Look at that compact. I don't know why. I'm just so aesthetically pleased by that. And that is the shade Kindness that I got. It's a beautiful peachy, corally, just a hint of pink, which is my favorite kind of blush tone. This one retails for $16, so not too bad, especially for the size. Like, consider the sizing of these products. It seems like you're getting a ton of product for the price point too. And again, everything feels very luxurious. I'm thinking this will go best with a sponge, but we'll see, obviously. And also, how much do I take? I don't know. I like to put it up here. Wait, did I get some off? Oh, I guess I did. I just need to wear headbands sometimes. Yeah, it's weird because in my mirror it's subtle, but on my camera, like, oh, I definitely see it. I don't know if my lighting's funky today, but blending very pretty. Let me get my brush. That way we keep everything very consistent here. Interesting. I'm just liking everything better with a brush. How very interesting. I mean, I am a brush girl. I am. But I just feel like this area just looks more textured and like it picked up the product underneath, where this side I'm more kind of pressing and stamping it. It's not picking up and pulling as I'm placing it. You know what I mean? has like a little tiny sheen to it, no glitter, so maybe that's what it means. Like there's no shimmer or glitter in it. It just has a slight dewy finish. So I guess, yeah, satin matte cream, somewhere in between. Not quite satin, not quite matte. I'll put a little bit on the nose. Cute. Okay, so let's go in now with the powder. I almost got the banana powder because they have a few different shades to choose from, but it almost looked like it might be too pigmented for me. So I went ahead and got the translucent. This is a pressed powder and this one is 18 bucks. So sleek. And I love that they went with the rose gold. So pretty. Yeah, that looks like a good translucent shade. In pictures too, this one almost looked like it had a hint of yellow, but in person, there's no yellow to be found or had. Anyways, I had to take a quick break because my baby woke up from her nap and my husband was home from work, so I passed him off and made sure she was all settled. But do note that you probably will need to powder this because I do have rolling into the smile lines under my eyes, some creasing there, which is typical for me. So I'm going to take my sponge on a clean side and repress that out before I powder, or else I will be powdering creasy lines and then it'll just get cakey and gross and that will not be good. And then for this, I love using any setting powders with my Tati blender. Where is it? There it is. Need to find a dupe for this seriously. I'm gonna dip that in. I know there's no way it's gonna top my Jouer because my Jouer is hydrating. This is just a setting powder. I instantly already don't love it. It just looks really dry under my eyes. I can tell right away. Just sucked up any kind of moisture I had there. It doesn't feel silky soft either. It feels like a dry pressed powder. You know what it feels like? It feels like the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder that they came out with, and I really don't like that one. That's something that I wish I returned because it was so bad. Did I try that one on camera? I think I might have. I don't know. I was very, very bummed out by that one. But this one didn't claim to be hydrating, so I'm not surprised. That ColourPop Pretty Fresh line is supposed to be fresh, so that was misleading. Oh, there's mirrors in here too, which is really nice, and a magnetic closure. Gosh, the packaging. Oh, if they make a hydrating setting powder in this style, I will be all for that. Is there a sticker on the mirror too to protect it? Wow. I don't feel like I ever see that. That's nice. That's a nice mirror in there. Ooh. You know, you know what this reminds me of looking in it? It reminds me of The Office when they're doing the, what's it called? They have the iPads, but they're square or they're triangle, and they're coming out with that. And Jim has to sub in for Ryan because Ryan freaks out and doesn't want to go on stage.
Saber, it's time.
Office fans will know. If you know, you know. I'm gonna press it out everywhere. See, maybe it'll blur my pores or something. Actually, it kind of is. It's kind of blurring my pores a tidbit. So that is nice. Just know that this is going to be more on the dry side for sure. So I don't love it under my eyes, but everywhere else, I'm kind of digging it. Okay, so there's the powder. Yeah, no shine or anything like that. So more on the matte side. But like I said, my pores are looking kind of diffused and softened. So that is a bonus. And I like that I can still see my bronzer. It did take the blush down a little bit. I'm not really seeing much of the blush. So we'll see if I can layer the blush on top of powder because sometimes you gotta do that. In which case, I feel like a sponge might be best. But let's test that out. I just want to gently tap, hoping that it doesn't take away. Okay, it's going on. It's going on that side fine. Let's see if it goes on the other side. I was most excited for this product, so I'm very interested to see how it plays. That's going on top okay. Oh yeah. And then, yeah, now you can see it. That actually went on pretty nicely. I'm not seeing any picking up of any product underneath. While we're at it, let's test the bronzer stick to see if you can do that, because sometimes you're like, ooh, I need a little bit more bronzer. This time I'm just going to take it on my sponge and pop a little bit in to blend it. Oh, it's going on top. Yeah, for sure. And it's not picking up any product underneath, but it's not blending with the blush. That's the only problem. I see like a line of bronzer and a line of blush. Not what I want to do. What if I just take my powder thing and just go on top of that? Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Let's go in with the highlighter now. I have a mess of triangles in front of me. Oh my goodness. This is the Aim High Brave champagne colored highlighter. Packaging is really cool though. It has like these little cutouts too. Like they really thought about this. They thought this through, which I appreciate. Wow, that is gorgeous. Oh, it feels so luxurious. That is so stunning. Let's pop a little bit right here. Oh, it's so reflective. That's really pretty. Oh, is this going to be the star of the show? Let's find out right here, right now. Oh, that's really pretty. Ooh. It's like the perfect, like natural colored highlighter. This is like an everyday highlight for me. It doesn't give any kind of weird cast, at least on my skin tone. I totally see that bronzer and blush shelf. Don't recommend the bronzer on top. It's just not blending. But that highlighter is so glossy, so pretty. I'm very interested to see though if they come out with a cream highlighter in either this form or the stick form. Let me do some hydrating setting mist. This is just Milani because I feel like I'm dying here. I'm gonna go pop on my eyeshadow, lips, keep it kind of neutral today, natural, quick, and I'll tell you my overall thoughts of everything. I'll kind of marinate on this while I do the rest of my makeup and get all my thoughts compiled into one cohesive minute for you. Did I just say I was gonna do a natural, neutral, quick, and easy look? Because I didn't, but you know what? I don't pick the palette picks me. Okay, so moving on. Something I noticed with this packaging, there's a way to determine what is your powders and what's your cream. So this is the cream blush. So hopefully they'll continue. I would really love to see them do a cream highlight in this. And then the shiny ones, oddly enough, to me, that would be the opposite, but these are your powder products. So let me tell you what I love. I really do like that blush. I think it played really nice with powder on top, which is really hard to find a good cream blush that does it both ways. So I like the versatility. I definitely think you can build up to a lot of pigment actually really easily. So I will continue to play around with that one and update you guys how I am liking that. The highlight too, I really loved, especially when I put my spray on top, it really melted into the skin and it's just giving such a beautiful shine. You are going to see like a bit of texturing on your skin because it is a powder highlight. That's why I would love for them to come out with a cream that looks more like one with your skin. And it's not very micro fine type of powder. It's a little bit thicker of a powder. If you're familiar with highlighters, it almost has like a creamy consistency for a powder, a silky, kind of like a silicone type of highlighter feel. And it is giving a lot of shine, not a lot, no glitter particles necessarily, but you're just gonna get that texturing like you would. And it's a really pretty everyday highlighter that I know I'm gonna be using. So I'm stoked for that. Don't like the powder. I think that was pretty obvious. I could see where some people will like it. I think if you have oily skin or if you don't deal with dry under eyes like I do, you might really like this powder because it seems to really mattify, really set the face down. I probably won't pull this out again until we get into the spring and summer months here in SoCal. The weather is so dry as it is and I'm dry, so this is just a recipe for alligator skin for me. So it's a no-no, but again, I didn't go into it thinking it was going to hydrate my skin. It's not. If you're looking for a hydrating setting powder, Jouer Soft Focus powder is where it's at. This one is a no-go for us dry skin boos. The bronzer stick, I was a little bit concerned about this one, TBH, because I saw so many people, they were pressing harder and it would just kind of like roll up on them as they were using it. So I could just foresee a disaster with this product. But I think if you only twist it once, trust me, don't twist like a ton out or it's gonna drag, and it's not drag. It just like the product just wants to come off. It's just very melty. So when you apply that warmth from your skin with the stick and together, it's just gonna melt, okay? Think of like lipstick from the 90s, how easily it would melt in your mom's car in their purse, because that would happen to my mom, and her lipstick would be melted all inside of itself. And that's how creamy this is. Like, I think formulas have come a long way since then. Lipsticks, I don't ever have that problem anymore. But this, if I threw it in my purse or I tried traveling with it into the heat, oh my goodness, disaster. So very creamy, but with that said, it makes it extremely easy to blend. Blending out was so effortless, and I really like the shade of this, at least for my skin tone, Motivate. And they have a bunch of different colors to choose from, and the packaging is amazing. All of these products contain a lot of product in it, or so it seems. So like I said, you're definitely getting a good bang for your buck. The concealer, I'm gonna have to keep trying this out, to be honest. I know that's hard. This isn't one that's easy to give a first impressions on. I definitely like the coverage that I got more with the brush, but I know it was a little bit harder to blend out with the brush, so that's a little bit harder. Like I said, the foundation they didn't have, but let me know if I should try it, and I'm curious to see what else they come out with down the pipeline. Make sure you subscribe before you go, because I also have a ton of other Black Friday deals that I picked up that I want to try on, and you don't want to miss out on that. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at ashleyellix, and I will see you boos next time. Okay, bye.